And here's your host of Living the Country Life, Betsy Freeze.
One of the joys of living in the country is being able to look out your window and see birds feeding on your property. Today we're going to talk about bird feeding. We have Doug Jimerson, who's the garden editor at Better Homes and Gardens.
Hi,
Doug,
Betsy.
welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What is the first thing we need to know when we go to feed birds?
When you're feeding birds, keep in mind that variety is the spice of life.
Okay.
They like to have a lot of different kinds of feeds to attract the biggest variety of bird species.
All right. So let's start with this one over here. What would I attract with this?
This is called a
feeder?
Fissile Feeder, and it attracts predominantly finches, goldfinches, house finches, purple finches, and you'll also get chickadees on there. What you're pouring in is the, quote, thistle, which is actually Niger seed, which is very similar to the natural feed they have in the wild, which is they feed on Canadian thistle seeds and other thistle seeds. What's interesting about this feeder is that the holes for the bird's beak is specifically designed for finch beaks.
It's very small, the
Very
hole
small.
and the feed.
They have to reach in there with their beak and pull each seed out individually, which they don't seem to mind, but it does keep other birds away from that, and also keeps the seed from falling out. As you see, as small as that seed is, if you had a bigger hole, it would leak all over the ground.
All right. What about this feeder?
This feeder is a great feeder for peanuts and for oil sunflower. We use it for the oil sunflower, which is right here to your left.
So this is this black sunflower
the dark
seed.
black sunflower, and it has a high oil content, and it's because of the size of the seed, it's attractive to a wide variety of species, everything from cardinals and jays to the smaller birds. And as you fill it up, you'll see how it works. The birds can actually cling to the wire and pull the seed through. And the larger birds, like the cardinals, will often sit here on the rim and eat.
Yeah.
So at any given time, you can have 3 or 4 birds feeding on this at one time.
So the smaller birds might cling to the wire and the larger birds are at the bottom?
Yes. Chickadees will fly in, for example, grab a seed and fly away.
What about this cute little feeder here?
That's a Suet Feeder. We bought a prepackaged Suet cake in here, which is in a plastic liner still, which you have to take that out when you feed it. This is guaranteed to attract nuthatches and woodpeckers.
All right.
They
What is suet?
Suet is rendered beef fat,
Okay.
and it's mixed with seed. Now, the reason the woodpeckers like this is because they're insectivores. They eat insects, and certainly there's not a lot of insects around the wintertime. They find them under bark and so forth, but they're not mainly seed eaters. So they'll come in and eat the fat in lieu of insects, and it also provides a lot of energy.
All right, great. What about this one?
This is your standard hopper feeder. This is probably the feeder most people think of when they think about feeding birds. It will hold about any kind of food you want to put in there. Here at the farm, we'll often use the larger sunflowers, but some birds seem to like these. Jays love these, and so we'll fill it with that, and we'll mix it with other things sometimes. The downside of these, if for those folks who don't like to have the mess of bird feeding, because by come spring you're going to have a lot of shells under your bird feeding station, are these hulls.
Yeah.
If you want, you can buy the same seed.
Oh, right, already shelled.
Already shelled. It's a little more expensive, but you won't have the cleanup in the spring.
What about this over here?
Well, there are a lot of ground-feeding species that really don't like to fly up and land on a feeder. Juncos are a very good example, and a lot of the native sparrows are too, the white-throats and so forth.
All right.
And so you can put that on the ground and then fill it with a general seed mix.
Just some corn and...
Corn and sunflowers and peanuts. You'll get the juncos, the native sparrows. You'll also get mourning doves. The other nice thing about these feeders is English sparrows, which are not native to the United States, and they have a tendency to overrun your whole feeding station,
right,
are also natural ground feeders.
So you could put that off to the side, maybe?
And you'll keep a lot of the English sparrows off to the side with their North American cousins.
Okay. What about water?
Water is the best way to attract birds. Actually, all these feeders together can add up to how many birds you'll attract with water. A good bird bath with a heater to keep it from freezing solid is the best thing. And if there are also bird baths you can buy that have a little sprinkling. Moving water is even more interesting to birds than still water.
How do I keep squirrels out of my feeder?
That's a tough question. You can put baffles, also baffles on them, which are to foil the squirrels from coming up.
Right.
There's so many different squirrel-proof feeders out on the market that aren't really squirrel-proof. It's tough.
Yeah.
We'll often put a separate feeder like this, a hopper feeder, and fill it with corn.
Okay.
And they do seem to like corn best.
So you just make a squirrel feeder?
I just have given up and just do a squirrel feeder and let them have their way.
Thanks, Doug, for being on the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Providing food and water to birds will help them and provide some activity for your backyard.